Hey guys, welcome to math class on Thursday, September 20th. Today's learning target we're looking at is I can use greater than or less than signs to arrange rational numbers. So these signs, as you may recall, are referring to values being greater than or values being less than. So as an example, if I had 4 and 6 and I wanted to determine which number was greater than or which number was less than, then my sign would open up towards my larger number. One way you may remember this is by having your Pac-Man eating the larger number or the larger value. And so you'd rather have that 6 instead of this 4 here. So if I have an example like this, fill in the blank, negative 11 over 2 is blank, negative 3.4. So we want to determine which one of these values is larger than the other one. And so if I have negative 11 over 2 versus negative 3.4, how am I going to determine which way the sign is going to face inside of this box? One way to determine this is by either getting them both into fractions or both into decimals, or both into a proper fraction, and this one also into a proper fraction. But whatever it is, we want them to be the same type of rational numbers. So let's try to get them into proper fractions. If I have negative 11 over 2, we know it's going to be negative, but I can do a long division. 2 divided by 11. I know 2 goes into 11 5 times, giving me 10. Subtract 1, I would be left with 5 remainder 1 over 2. And remember, this is negative because this is negative 11. So this is negative 5 1/2. Negative 3.4, we could say is negative 3 and 40 over 100, or negative 3 and 4/10. If I have 4/10, we could express this as a simplified fraction. 2 is divisible by, 4 and 10 are both divisible by 2, and 2 goes into 4 2 times and goes into 10 5 times. So we could express this as negative 3 2/5. Well, even before we got to this point, if we know that this is negative 5 1/2 and this is negative 3 wholes 0.4, then we know that this is the larger number because it's closer to 0. And so the way my sign would face inside the box is if I'm trying to eat the larger number, that's the number that's, in this case, closer to 0. And so if we want to look at this another way, we could look at it with a number line, and that's kind of what we did the other class. But if we're looking at the numbers and their distance to 0, then negative 3.4 would be closer to 0. Negative 11 over 2 is further away from 0, making it the smaller number. And so with negative 11 over 2, negative 3.4 is my greater number.